Good morning, everybody. First off, thank you very much for joining us, and we appreciate your patience as we continue to as we're getting organized this morning. My name is Travis Busnell. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer at Nishnawbe Aski Nation. And again, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We're here to raise concern with the investigations into the death of 17-year-old Tammy Keeash from North Caribou Lake and the disappearance of 14-year-old Josiah Begg from Kitchenuhmaykoosib in Inninuwug. I'd like to thank Dennis Franklin Camardi for hosting us today, and we'd also like to further thank the high school for hosting the command center that was initiated by Nishnawbe Aski Nation. Josiah was last seen on May 6th, and we've been searching for him ever since. And Tammy's body was discovered in the Nishnawbe floodway on May 7th. In regards to today's agenda, we're going to have some opening remarks and comments from Grand Chief Alvin Fiddler, and then Deputy Grand Chief Aski Nation will be reading a statement on behalf of North Caribou Lake First Nation. And we also have with us today mother of Tammy Keeash, Pearl Slipperjack, joined by David Schwinmash. And also joining us is Chief James Cutfeet of Kitchenuhmaykoosib in Inninuwug. And we also have with us Sunshine Winter, mother of Josiah Begg, as well as Benny Begg. And that's the order in which we're going to conduct the agenda today. Chief Diana Kinate of North Caribou Lake does send her regrets. However, as I stated earlier, Deputy Grand Chief Anna Betty will be making a statement on her behalf as well. Each of our participants will deliver brief statements. The media is invited to ask questions afterwards. I would also like to note that this will be a difficult time for the family members. So if they have to leave the room, we appreciate your understanding. So we'll begin with Grand Chief.
Amigos, and get Ninak Malaria, Bishop Malaria Games again. Good morning, everyone. Again, thank you to Advocacy and NAC for allowing us to have this press conference in your school. I want to begin by offering, on behalf of the Nishnawbe Aski Nation, our condolences, our prayers to the Keeash family, to the community of North Caribou Lake, and the loss of your daughter. I also want to offer our prayers and support to the Begg family and the community of KI as you continue your search to try and find your son and grandson, Josiah Begg. I also want to acknowledge and thank the many volunteers that have come forward over the last week to help in this search effort. Our staff at the Nishnawbe Aski Nation, volunteers from the city of Thunder Bay, volunteers from many of our communities that have come down or traveled down to Thunder Bay, in many cases on their own, to help in the search. I also want to just say that we are inviting the city police, the Thunder Bay Police, to help us establish a more concerted, coordinated effort in the search for Josiah. That while we have volunteers coming in to help with the search, that we feel that there should be a more concerted effort, a more coordinated effort to find Josiah as quickly as possible. And so we invite the Thunder Bay Police to help us in that effort. I also want to reference the tragic passing of Tammy Keeash. They buried their daughter up in Round Lake yesterday, and they had a service here in Thunder Bay the other morning, Monday morning. And I did get a chance to speak with some of the family members and the leadership of that community. And again, as in many of these types of previous cases, there's a lot of questions that the family has and the community has, that they have a hard time accepting the conclusion that was put forward by the Thunder Bay Police. That was just simply a drowning. Tammy, even though she struggled in her life, in her short life, she was also a trained Canadian Ranger, entered a junior ranger program in her community. So she knew the water. So she knew something about the water safety and how to navigate the land, as well as just the way she was brought up. So the family is asking more questions about what led to their daughter's tragic death. And they, along with their leadership of North Caribou Lake, are reaching out to their neighboring communities, surrounding communities, the leadership, other chiefs from other communities, to pool their resources together. But they want to explore the idea of hiring a private investigator that will go back and examine not only Tammy's tragic death, but other cases where youth have gone missing and have died here in Thunder Bay. But right now they have a hard time accepting the work and the conclusion of the Thunder Bay Police. That the trust, the relationship between the police and the families and our communities is very difficult. And I think it's for that reason why they want to examine bringing in their own investigator to re-examine, as I said, Tammy's death and other cases that where our youth have gone missing here in Thunder Bay. So I thank you, all of you, for being here, the media that's here. We're also streaming this through our own social media so that community members, and I know that there's tremendous interest out there in our own communities about what's happening in Thunder Bay. That there is a lot of concern about our youth that live here, that go to school here in Thunder Bay, about their safety and well-being. And that's why we are here today to again raise those issues and to call on those in authority to work with us to try and make Thunder Bay a better place and a safer place for all of us.
Watcher, good morning. My name is Nishnawbe Aski Nation. On behalf of North Caribou Lake First Nation, the Chief and Council and the community, again want to express their condolences to the Keeash family and her friends. I'm going to read directly what the Chief Chief and Council have written here. While we may be in shock, the North Caribou Lake First Nation Chief and Council and its membership are concerned and intensely question the coroner's findings in the death of Tammy Keeash while in care of Children's Services in Thunder Bay. Tammy Keeash lived in Wiagama Lake First Nation, a community surrounded with water, and she was a member of the Junior Canadian Rangers, the unit that are trained to survive in this harsh environment. Therefore causing us speculation to hear how she died when she was found. However, there may be other factors that contributed to her passing. Nonetheless, there will be questions that will be surfacing. As a result of Tammy's death, we learn and need to remind ourselves that there are young people attending high school in urban centers. And we plead to these young people that are taking care of those that entrust them to. Respectfully, the Chief and Council of North Caribou Lake First Nation. And on behalf of North Caribou Lake First Nation, they want to thank all those that are searching, all the volunteers, and also those who contribute. And that, again, they will continue to pray for the safe return of Josiah Begg. English.
There's no word to say bonjour in Nishnawbe. The way you say bonjour with Nishnawbe is to listen or speak. Simple as that. But I say bonjour to the people who understand to say bonjour in that way, wache or anin. My name is Dimash Nagosh Nishikas, Nishnawbe Nikas, Artikdo Tema, Ikshndoti Gagyaming. My name is, in English, my name is David. I carry my great-grandfather's name, Shwanamash, which is really pronounced Shwanimia. And I'm using his last name, so David Shwanamash is what I use with the government, registered. And Geni Bejgun, Nakuma Geni Numaga Mas Yacha, Geni Nige, we again the moon, the Jiva Gana Mamma Chen the moon. Well, just say, man, but now, man, but what in the Mina, ya, Grand Chief. The Gushke, or at the Sama, Magab me, Archie, Finesio Goma, get the go offering that tobacco for animals that live in this area, which is the true Yag. Mom, when you got the bed the much, you know, she Snabe Gail Magayas are just here to protect these lands. They're not going for First Nation of Magayama, got the Gail Maying, Thunder Bay. First of all, can you need to go you get in good thing, yeah, Kagisha, visits Oiti Tani, and it doesn't sound right to me with the report. I know I was taught not to judge people, but I can't help to think with my own mind to think about this is not right. And the Grand Chief said, you know, we have to do something about our children of the North coming down here. I personally been in this situation when I was a teenager. I wasn't a great kid. I made a lot of trouble, busting windows, stuff like that, just like any other child today in the reserve. I've been spotted on, kicked on in my own reserve by my own brothers and sisters and my cousins and the community. When I was going through this phase in my life where you know I was a troublemaker, is what they called me. a really bad kid. He needs to be punished. Punished. How do you punish a child? You know, I see that all the time. This is the truth I speak. I'll tell you a little bit of my story. This is going to hurt me, and it might offend some people here. When he got shipped out of Fort Hope with my best friend and a cousin of ours, we were sent to Sulco. And what we faced there, the first day was fine. Everything was cool, and you know, they treated us like human beings. When second day started coming around, that's when the foster parents start picking on us, making fun of us, making fun of our color. I didn't understand this. This is the first time I was away from home. And my best buddy always told me, "You're gonna be all right." He's a little older than I am, and he's a strong man, stronger than I am. I had to cry in my bed every night thinking about this. Why is this happening to me? I know I'm a bad kid. All I was doing was asking for help, crying for help. I was pretty, you know, I was really mad, pissed off. This went on. We got abused, sexually abused. Anything you want to name is what we went through in that house, that foster parent house. The last straw was when we got really beat up. So what we did, we decided to run away. We ran away, went down the highway. We figured we'll go to Dryden or wherever, Sulco, wherever the road's going to lead us. So we took off on the highway. That man, that foster parent came by and saw us on the highway, grabbed us and beat the crap out of us. There was witnesses. As soon as the witnesses spoke up about that beating on the highway, there's three of us, my best friend and my little cousin. What happened after that is we got sent home because of that witness. That's how far it went. I asked my mother, "Why did you send me out?" I was so mad at her. I went through hell where I went. Because there was only that word, hell. That's all that's all I was taught when I was young, is there's a hell. And that was hell to me. And same thing with my best friend. He said the same thing. We wanted to revenge, we wanted to hurt this person. But we know better that this is not the way to make it right for us. We're just kids, 13, 14-year-olds. And this is in the 70s I'm talking about. It's not like today where you have a lot of agencies. I asked my mother, this is the part that might offend people. I asked my mother, why? Why did you send me out? Why? How come you didn't help me? I went to a bad place. I told her what happened to me. She cried. Tell me the truth why I went there. I did ask the chief. I told him, I'll take him in the bush. And the chief at the time was Corny Nate. Former Corny Nate was the chief. He argued with my mother. He's got to go, and sign the papers to get me sent out. To this day, I have a grudge with him because of that. Why I'm saying this is because this is where it has to start, right from the community. I know families have problems. I know there's alcohol, drugs. Sometimes it doesn't help when the chief of any reserve that have relatives peddling this stuff. It's almost like they're protecting them. To the parents, the caregivers. God didn't give us this life to do these things. God gave us life so we could take care of our children. From our homes, to the community, to our nation. I've been through a lot in my life. I've seen a lot.
And when I see these kids go through the same thing, I know what's going on behind those closed doors in Delico or even Kitchenuhmaykoosib. My grandchildren are in there. For what? We try to get them back. There's no services for the adults, for their addictions. They have to do this on their own. You know how hard that is for an addict or an alcoholic? I know for myself that all the things I go through, all the things I went through, I think I learned a lot from this. I know all of it is negative. We got to try to make things happen for our communities. Not only the Nishnawbe kids, the other kids too. Inninuwug, Kitchenuhmaykoosib. This is a worldwide situation we're on. The way I see it, myself anyway, we talk about sending kids to a city for school. I know the government wants the kids to go to school, and they have to go away from their communities to go to school. I know my grandfather fought against residential schools, and he did make it to happen so they could be schools built in the reserve. And his name was John Boyce, Chief John Boyce of Fort Hope. He started something for us to work on. He got schools into the reserves, him and a few other chiefs at that time, back in the 60s. And I think this is what we need to do as a community, as Nishnawbe, because we have different genes from Michigoshig or any other race around the world. Our hearts are connected in a different way from other people because we were chosen to be the guardians of the earth. Not fighting. I'm not talking about fighting. I'm talking about teaching. We got everything out there in northern Western Ontario that we can teach our kids to become good people, have a good life. I'm a headsman for this organization or nation, or whatever we want to call it. But we say I'm part of Gagagaming is up north, northwestern Ontario. All of it. The whole areas we call Gagagaming as a family. The boys' side and the Shwanama side. I talked to a few of my cousins about this, and we were saying, you know, our kids don't have to go down south. It's time they build a school in the territory, our original territory, for even the kids up north, from all the way from the east coast to the Manitoba border to the north. There's a big area there, what we call Gagagaming. There's a lot of land out there. Build a school there, have the kids go to school there. They can learn traditional stuff, to learn who they are as Nishnawbe. And they can make up their own minds as they get older what they want to do with their lives. But originally, we're Nishnawbe. We got our own connection with the land. Most people misunderstand it when you say connection to the land, traditional. Everything that you learn from the land, from the trees to the water to the animals, they're our teachers. They teach us how to live lives, how to make our lives better. When you look at a wolf, he protects his family. That's how the Nishnawbe used to be. They emulate the wolf. They copy the wolf how to live their lives, protect the weak, the old, and the elders. And you go at the dog at the juice to get there, you can always watch now, I got a net to be watched. In what they next to the end, it didn't cut down, right there, go getting up to he catch you. The reason I say that is because many of these children really already know the land. It's better for them to be in a place where they're comfortable instead of a city. Build a high school. You can even build a high school where my family are from. Gagagisting. You can build. There's a road right beside that place for in and out. That's for Kenny and Tammy. When I first met Tammy, she was 3 years old with my brother Randy. And the reason I'm talking about a lot of things here is because I was chosen to speak for the children. It wasn't my choice. And everything that happened to my life has to revolve around children. I went through all this stuff. And when you talk about what happened to Tammy, a lot of people believe there was more to it than what's been in the press release. I don't want to say my personal thoughts about it, but I do know one thing. Talk to Gordon. What's the article in Chicago? About almost a year and a half ago, he set out on a journey. I don't know if anybody heard about this. He set out on a journey from Thunder Bay to Soka. It was a spiritual journey for him, to get healed. And his vision was, we got to keep the kids away from these foster homes, is what he's told us. And you know, how do we do this? We try to take this to the government. They don't listen to us. Now Bright Cloud is hurt by this. This is the second time he has to go through this. You can see it in his eyes. You can just feel it when you hug him. He said, I told you guys what's going to happen. You know that really hurts, that we are trying, we told him. Yeah. Bro will speak more about what Gordon said. You guys.
My name is Jack. I'm mother of Tammy Keeash. There's no words to describe on how I feel, but this would be my second child to lose under care. My first child I lost was back in 2010 while in the care of Kitchenuhmaykoosib. This would be my second one. So many times, Gordon, my son would say, how come these kids don't stay on a reserve and I can't say anything? About a month after he did that walk, he was saying, Mom, you gotta get your kids back. You gotta get your children back all in one week. He didn't just mean only me. He was talking about all the other mothers. Because he said it was gonna happen again. And I didn't, all I could say is I tried. I didn't try hard enough. With Tammy was a troubled kid. And she kept coming out for like counseling and stuff like that. And I think the government, the youth from up north come out here for counseling, and they only do 2-3 sessions, and they don't continue counseling, or there's not much resources up north. not talking about homeless, but in every community. I think there should be more resources out there. It's going to be too late again. Something bad's going to happen again. We should just get more resources for youth out there. More in the schools.
We talked about it a little while before we came here. She said there should be more resources to protect our children, more in the reserve programs for mental health, and even with childcare, there should be more homes. And she also, the other biggest thing that they talked about with the family was drug test. Mandatory drug test with the foster parents and the workers. The workers that work for these agencies. We can't do, I know the police might have those already in place, but on the reserve, it's a different story, it's a different world out there. And we talk about the reserve life. And this is one of the biggest. And she also mentioned that you got to live on the reserve to understand what we're talking about here. There's so many families out there. There's a lot of conflict of interest, and some of the families are not well received in their reserves, and that's one of the biggest part of the problem here. We don't have a community up there. There's a reserve, but there's no community. Nobody are friends with each other anymore.
Good morning. I'm in the Sunshine Winter. Mother Josiah Begg. So if you hear this, I want you to come back. Waiting for you, Joe. Please come back, Josiah.
Joe, we're all here. It's okay to come home.
Good morning. Kitchenuhmaykoosib, I'm just new. Good morning to all, and thank you for the prayer that was said this morning. My name is James Cutfeet, Chief of Kitchenuhmaykoosib, Inninuwug, formerly Big Trout Lake. First of all, I wish to convey Kitchenuhmaykoosib's Inninuwug's sincerest condolences to the Keeash family for the loss of their youth. The loss of a youth is like having time come to a standstill. The future contributions of what could have been with respect to the late Tammy Keeash becomes unknown forever. And we offer our prayers to the family, the Keeash family. Now, with respect to the missing youth, Josiah Begg of Kitchenuhmaykoosib, you heard the parents asking if Josiah's out there, that he come home and be with his family. And I'd like to say, on behalf of the families, our people, and the council, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to the Nishnawbe Aski Nation for the lead and the coordination of the search. The volunteers on the ground, you have given a lot of your time and effort. I thank you for that. The donations from the First Nations, the businesses and individuals, the Thunder Bay Police, including the Nishnawbe Aski Police Service and the OPP, who had contact there with the file. All contributions, no matter how small, they are very much appreciated. On the official front, I received a call from the about the missing youth, Josiah Begg, from a family member on day 3. It is now day 11. I went to the police station for information regarding the missing youth. The front desk officer I spoke to was not helpful. In the end, I only got a police contact person to call, and this officer's name is not even part of the investigation. I believe, as a best practice, an improved communication and information process can be set in place by the police in situations such as missing youths. Josiah Begg, along with his father, was out for a medical appointment when he went missing. As most of the people in the South may not know, the First Nations only have the basic of medical care in their communities. For everything else, First Nations must leave their communities to receive health services which most Canadians take for granted in larger municipalities. And I believe this is what the Keeash family, the mother, is also requesting, that services be improved in our communities, whether it's education or otherwise. As the co-chair of the Chiefs Committee on Health with the Solukut First Nations Health Authority, I am taking this liberty. I believe it is time to transform the level of health services in First Nation communities so that the Josiah Beggs of our First Nation communities do not have to leave home to receive wellness services and supports. By continuing to leave home for services, residential school days is still in practice. We as First Nations continue to leave home to receive services away from the comforts and supports of our families. It is time for the governments to examine with us what is best for First Nations people. Canada will be celebrating 150 years of occupying our lands. Canada continues to determine what it suspects is best for the First Nations. It is time to talk as equals for services enjoyed by all other Canadians. Thank you.
First of all, I want to personally express my condolences to the Keeash family and the community of North Caribou Lake and all the Tammy's friends and those families that cared for her while she was in care. During in the past days since we have been searching for Josiah, we have come across situations and circumstances where we felt frustration. The investigation and the cooperation from the police needs to improve when we have a missing child. There's been numerous recommendations and testimonies from the inquest that speaks to this. And with our history of the many tragic deaths of our young people in Thunder Bay, this should have already been addressed. That there should have been a coordinated effort and protocols that any time a child goes missing, that it has to be with urgency, that the investigation must progress. And the other statement that I would like to make is, as you know, in Canada, the Prime Minister announced that we would be having an inquiry. As of today, this inquiry still has not unfolded. And when I think of Tammy and the circumstances of her death, there has been so many deaths like this where we've lost our Indigenous women. And again, it's concluded that it was accidental. So that's a concern that I have as an Indigenous woman and as a person that has the role of a Deputy Grand Chief for Nishnawbe Aski Nation, that this is too frequent and that needs to be addressed. Lastly, I want to say that I'm very thankful for all those who have contributed and who have come to volunteer. It provides comfort, some comfort, what little comfort it can to the family and to those that are searching to see all the people that come out. And as a mother, hearing Sunshine's plea that Josiah, if you're out there, or if anyone knows of where he is, please come forward. Josiah, your mother, and your dad, and your kukum, and all your siblings want you home. Chimingwich.
Thank you, everyone. Now is an opportunity to either open the floor to some direct questions to the leadership or the family, but you also have an opportunity where we can help coordinate some one-on-one question periods, I guess. So if the media has anything they want to ask generally, so feel free to do so now. so we're gonna move to one-on-ones. I do have one announcement to make before we conclude. Kitchenuhmaykoosib Inninuwug's Economic Development Corporation has offered a contribution of $10,000 for any credible information leading to the location of Josiah Begg. The phone number where you can reach them at or to provide the information is 807-630-1982. Again, that's a reward of $10,000. So thank you very much to KI. With that, 807-632-1982. 82, yeah. Okay, so I guess we're done the press conference, and we'll help coordinate the scrum with the media. Again, thank you all.